What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'm joined with Robin, and today we are talking about Solana. It has been getting absolutely obliterated with the news of FTX going insolvent, and now with the equally important news that CZ from Binance might be backing out of the letter of intent deal that they were set to purchase FTX. Solana has been tanking. We have some news. If you're invested in Solana, you're going to want to pay attention. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Let's first take a peek at where Solana is on the crypto market cap. It was in the top 10, you guys. Top 10. It was recently flipped by Polygonmatic, and now it is sitting at number 15, coming in at $13.49. If we take a quick peek at the chart here, no TA, no indicators, just take a glance. I mean, you can see here, this is a 3-month chart. The biggest dip we took was from yesterday. We went from $30. We've lost half, 50% in one day. Well, you might be asking why, besides the obvious of FTX going under. Well, here's the big news. Nearly $1 billion of Solana is set to be unstaked in 24 hours. This was reported today at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sol tokens worth nearly $1 billion will be available to be unlocked on Wednesday, which represents 13% of the coin's circulating supply. Now, it's important to remember, this does not mean, we are not saying that all $1 billion will be dumped on the market, but you got to assume some of it will, right? Solana validators are scheduled to unlock 49.6 million Sol tokens when the current epoch ends in less than 24 hours time. Then followed by the COO of Solana Labs sees a crucible moment for the ecosystem amid the FTX crisis. He goes on to say, Binance seems to care about the ecosystem, but they have a lot of work on their hands, assuming Binance goes through and purchases FTX. I'm hopeful they can work out a good deal with FTX. He goes on to say, quote, this crucible moment for the Solana ecosystem is as difficult as the last one. The difference is there are 10 times more of us to band together this time. Next time will be 10 times more. Each time we're stronger. The fundamentals are better. Now, why are they so connected? Okay. Why is Solana taking a bigger hit than the rest of the markets are when, everything is tanking 20, 30%. Solana's down 50%. Well, if you don't know, FTX Ventures and Alameda Research were big investors in Solana. In fact, if you take the FTT token off the Alameda Research balance sheet, Solana is the next biggest bag they hold. And of course, they started selling some of these Sol tokens to prop up the FTT token. When that went to the wayside, you got to assume a company that is going under, they're going to liquidate a majority of their assets on hand, unless they're planning on going into bankruptcy. Either way, it's bad news for Solana. And then one more thing I want to show before we jump into conversation here. This is from Crunchbase. It says Solana's financials and who has invested in the project. Alameda Research, of course, in their ICO, you have Multicoin Capital, which invested in Solana twice. And we'll cover some multi-capital news here in a few minutes. And then, of course, Andreessen Horowitz, which was a lead investor for Solana. And here you have multi-capital again. Now, Robin, how concerned are you with not only Solana's price, right, but them just to be able to stay afloat as an ecosystem?
I mean, if they're overly centralized, which we've seen when the network goes down, they can just turn it on and off via a light switch. And I think that there's a little argument in this space to say that in comparison to other networks, Ethereum, Bitcoin, a lot more centralization here. And you know what happens with centralization is they have manipulation, and you also have assets that are tied to people. And, with the exposure they have with with Alameda Research, and them having so many Sol tokens, they're going to be forced sellers through liquidation or through bankruptcy. You're going to have an immense amount of sell pressure. I think it was only 20% of the tokens were liquid right now. And I'm under the assumption that that lockup that's coming up tomorrow, the unlocking of $1 billion worth of Solana tokens, how much of that is held by Alameda Research? And if that's the case, we know they're going to get liquidated. They have to. I mean, FTT was such a large part of their portfolio and their company's valuation, and the price of FTT is down over 80%, and it's probably going to go, under $1. It's going to go closer to zero. Nobody really expects FTT to come out of this, and so, when it hits the grindstone, you got to sell, right? As business goes under, you have to sell. I mean, you see it in retail, you see it in everyday life. You see a furniture store going out of business. They have to mark everything down and sell it, right? You have no option. You gotta close up shop. And Alameda Research is gonna have to close up shop, and they're gonna have to sell their SOL tokens. Price is already low, and I'm scared to see what happens when you have $1 billion worth of SOL tokens, sell pressure hitting the market as well. I'd be very weary on my holdings of Solana. I don't currently have any right now, but I would be evaluating my position if I was a big time SOL holder right now.
So Solana hits $5. Are you a buyer or are you still staying away?
I mean, if they're at $5, that means fundamentally they've had some issues, right? Because right now they're at $14, you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's another...
Well, under $14.
Yeah, that's another 70% down? 75% down?
$13.62. Guys, this was a cryptocurrency.
Over $200, man. It was... I know everything's down. I know everything's down from its all-time highs. I understand that. However... there's being down from your all-time highs, and then there's this going from $250 and dropping all the way to $13. And I think it's safe to assume we haven't found the bottom of Solana yet. And so, are we going under $10? I think that is safe to say, right?
Probabilities are high, yes.
And I mean, if you're trading, I guess there's opportunity to make money there, but outside of that, if it was me, if I wanted to get in, you're asking me if I was going to get in, I'm just going to see where the chips fall. I'm going to see where the price of Solana kind of finds support at. Let some of this FTX and Alameda news play through. And if you don't get the bottom, so be it, man. What would be the worst case scenario? Solana hits. Well, I know the worst case scenario, but realistically, as long as Solana stays up, Solana still moves forward. It's still around. I mean, what would happen? Solana would probably hit $3 or something, and then eventually probably candlewick to $3, find support at $5, trade sideways between $5 and $10, be back up at $12 in about 6 months. I'd be fine at that point. When I see that it's still there, I'd be fine getting in at $12. During the run up of the bull market, everyone was piling in a Solana at $80, $60, $50. I mean, if it's still here in 6 months, then at that point, you're still gonna get it at an extreme discount, right?
Yeah.
So that would be my investment strategy. This is investment advice, but if I was looking for an entry point, it's more about time right now. It's about time to see how it plays out. If it's a long-term hold, trading completely different. But if it's a long-term hold, I'm gonna just wait it out a little bit, see kind of how this news plays out, see if there's any cascading liquidations in the SOL ecosystem, or maybe some of the things, some crazy exposure from the dev team, or maybe the devs sell on their own project. You never know.
Yeah, the contagion could be very far-reaching. And so, speaking of contagion and far-reaching. One company that might go under is Multicoin Capital. We showed you they were a lead investor in Solana. They were also they've invested twice in Solana, but on top of that, they've been hit by the FTX collapse with 10% of their funds assets under management on the exchange. Guys, 10% of the total amount of assets they have on their entire balance sheet is locked on FTX. That is a lot of money. Multicoin Capital, one of the top crypto-focused venture capital firms, is significantly impacted by FTX's collapse. The letter sent Tuesday by Multicoin Capital managing partners from the master's account shows that around 10% of their total AUM are still pending withdrawals on FTX. This is a quote from Multicoin Capital. Unfortunately, we were not able to withdraw all of the fund's assets on FTX. Assets included Bitcoin, ETH, and USD are pending withdrawal and represent approximately 15.6% of the assets in the fund and approximately 9.7% of our total funds. Another company, right? And this is going to the FTX Contagion, which is what sparked this Solana chain of reaction with Solana that we're having. Galaxy Digital, if you remember, their founder, Mike Novogratz, he was the one that had the Terra Luna tattoo with the wolf. They got absolutely demolished by Terra Luna, and they are getting demolished by FTX as well. They disclosed a $77 million exposure to FTX with 48 million likely locked in withdrawals. They say they got cushion despite the current situation. Galaxy Digital said it has 1.5 billion in liquidity, including 1 billion in cash and 235 million in stable coins to cushion the losses. Now, FTX started this whole thing, right? What can save the markets, right? What can save Solana from being just completely obliterated? What can save companies like Multicoin Capital, like Galaxy Digital? Is there anything out there that you can think of that can save these companies, or this is just a hard lesson everyone's going to have to learn?
Well, Galaxy Digital has over $2 billion worth of assets under management. So 77 million would be a gut punch. But I mean, you're talking less than 5%. I guess 10% would be, so less than 5% exposure there. And so I think Galaxy Digital would probably be fine. But at the same time, who knows, right? And they already took a lick. They already took some punches from the Terra Luna debacle. They had a massive exposure. And yeah, here's another loss in the portfolio. And then with Multicoin, I mean, I don't know much about Multicoin. I know that they're a prominent VC firm. I don't know what their books look like. I'm not even going to try to speculate, but the numbers speak for themselves, though. If you invested twice, major investor in FTX, FTX goes under, Binance doesn't buy them out, doesn't bail them out, then, I mean, how much exposure do they have? Can they survive it? I mean, I'm under the assumption they're probably already down, right? Every venture capital company in crypto is down, right? Anybody doing good? And so can you weather the storm? Can you weather that kind of exposure?
You guys got to remember, without VCs, guys, a lot of these crypto tokens you have money in would not be around.
Now,
and so
what is the devs of Solana looking like, though? If they misappropriated funds and they have exposure, and I know we're talking about a crypto project versus a company here, but there are some centralization points there, and could Solana be in trouble fundamentally and from a blockchain perspective? Possibly. I would even tread carefully there on that end.
Yeah, and so that'll do it for the video today, but let us know in the comments, do you have any Solana? Are you still bullish on Solana, or do you think Solana is done for? Let us know. That'll do it again, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to come hop into our live stream Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On behalf of myself and Robin, thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.